Back at it again, coast to coast. Got a special top 5 edition, new Big 12 or Big 12, new soon to be SEC. We got the new arena in the background. University of Texas assistant coach Ulric Maligi in the house. He's been at every single university probably in the state of Texas almost. Definitely all the high majors. He has a master's, a doctorate, and associates, all those things in Texas basketball. But he's coached some of the best. He's coached for some of the best, and really excited to have him on. He took the time today to hang out with us. He's going to be a head coach, future Division I head coach. He's going to be great at it. Great dude, known him a long time, and just excited to see him with the burnt orange on. And something about that burnt orange, it just seemed like it was right. It was meant to be all along. So excited for him. The new era with Coach Beard, and he brought a star-studded cast of staff members with him, and excited to talk to Coach Maligi from Texas. So I'll let Kevin give his little quick rundown on Texas, and then we'll bring him in. Kevin has him at number 2. AP has him at number 5. So we're going to talk about Kevin. Why do you have him at number 2?
I mean, you said star-studded staff. Well, that star-studded staff brought in some star-studded players. I mean, I'm excited to watch, all these transfers that come in. Honestly, it's college basketball is a great experiment. In a world where everyone is going for one and done dudes, they have loaded up on elite college players, guys who will have pro futures without a doubt. But these guys are proven college vets. So I'm very excited to see what they can do, and it's an exciting time to be a Texas Longhorn. That's for sure. So excited to chat with him today.
Yeah, to get the alumni, the graduate from Texas, Mr. Beard, to come back away from his Big 12 school that he was at. So, yeah, we know that game is going to be heated. We may be down there, Ulric. We may be down there in Lubbock just to be there for the real deal. We may do a college game day, coast to coast, live in person. But we're looking forward to seeing what Texas is going to do. I believe over 100 points per game returning if you talk about the transfers. So a lot of points. That's probably why Sweeney has him number 2. Chris Beard, obviously elite coach, elite staff, and one of their elite staffers is here. So we're going to bring him in. Coach, what up, man?
What's going on, fellas? Y'all doing all right?
We're doing well, man. Excited to have you on. Man. How's life? We got to pull up the picture. How's life as a new dad, man? How is that part of? That's the most important thing we're going to talk about. We know Texas is really good. We know we're reuniting the family. But tell us about your family real quick and a new member of the family.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. Fatherhood has been a blessing, man. It's, I can't even really put it into words. JJ, he blessed us with his presence right in the heat of things. Right, he came right in the thick of things in terms of, the season, recruiting, scouting, practice. And so I think he was born a couple of days right before official practice. And so my wife, Courtney, and I have just been elated, man. He's been a blessing to our family and to our friends. And, it's been a long road for my wife and I, in terms of, pursuing parenthood and to have our first child. And for my son to be born on my late father's birthday was very special. Those, Brian, you and my dad know, were best friends. And so, to have that, as part of my dad's legacy, it's been a blessing.
Yeah, some things are just meant to be. You being a father, I believe, and your wife being a mother, meant to be. Him being born on your father's birthday to carry that torch. I'm couldn't be happier for you, man. That's a big time, the ultimate championship right there. So happy for you. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So talk about this team. You're making a move from West Texas. Yeah. Now you're coming back to Austin with the star-studded staff, Coach Beard, who obviously you worked for before. What is it like being at the University of Texas? You've been at almost every school. I said that in the intro. And I'm saying that in respect, but you've been at a lot of different places. I don't think you've worked outside of the state of Texas, if I'm not mistaken. You haven't. So talk about what it means to be at the University of Texas.
Well, I've always wanted to, be a successful head coach by the age of, at the age of 15, I knew I wanted to coach. And originally from Charlotte, North Carolina. So but when I moved to Arlington, Texas, and Brian, we both started coaching AAU at a very young age. Man, it's always been a dream to coach at the University of Texas, and so it's been more that I've dreamed about. Obviously, a lot of excitement goes into this season with this team that we were blessed to be able to put together, and so it's been cool. I've tried to work outside of the state. It just hadn't always quite,
I don't believe that.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, from the very beginning, man. Obviously, I got my undergrad degree from Howard University in DC, and then came back to the state right at home at UTA, and then from there, man, I've been, I've entertained some opportunities outside of the state, but the state won't let me leave, man. And the state's been good to me and my family. So, but very, very blessed. This team is, it's a work in progress. We only have one player, Avery Benson, that has played in our system, both offensively and defensively. So it's a work in progress from that standpoint. And a lot of talented guys, a lot of, sacrifice is kind of the word that we use. I think our staff sacrificed a lot individually for us to all be able to come together and build what some people think maybe one of the best, if not arguably the best coaching staff in college basketball. Then I think our guys are we're trying to help our guys. A lot of experience. I think we may be, the most experienced team in college basketball, but just trying to figure out exactly what Texas basketball looks like, and trying to figure out what our identity is going to be with this team.
Yeah, speaking of the team, we talked a little bit about this a little bit ago on the intro, but I believe there's over 100 points per game that you guys have as returning players, not necessarily returning to Texas, because you only have a few players returning to Texas. Courtney Ramey, Andrew Jones, and what's my man from Austin?
Chase Febres and Brock Cunningham.
Chase Febres, yes, and Brock Cunningham. So 4 players returning from Texas, but returning to college basketball, you have over 100 points per game, which is one of the reasons why Kevin Sweeney picked you guys second. I know AP poll has you 5th. Talk a little bit about this roster and the talent. We know Coach Beard is very into details. He's about culture. He's about guys having to earn it. I heard him on a press conference talk about no one on the roster. I think he said this has won an NCAA tournament game yet. So it's like there's still things to be done. So anyway, talk a little bit about the roster and what needs to be done for you guys to be as great as you want to be.
Well, Christian Bishop was an intricate part of Creighton going to the Sweet 16 last year.
Yes.
Started from them. And so we were very fortunate. Obviously, he had a lot of suitors coming, out of the transfer portal. But these other guys, Avery Benson, he didn't play meaningful minutes necessarily, but he was, he experienced going all the way to the national championship game at Texas Tech and then playing in the Elite Eight. And I think our guys, they understand how we feel about Avery Benson and what he brings to the table. He didn't come here to average 20 points a game, but he embraces his role every day in practice, and he allows those guys allow him to help him. He's been really good for our young guys, particularly Jalen Tyson, just helping them to kind of understand and Coach Beard wants on and off the floor. But this team is, I didn't know that about the points. I did know we had 843 Division I games played. One of my good friends as assistant GM, and he was a former college player. I told him that. He was like, "Man, my knees hurt." It's so funny. After our first close scrimmage, we scrimmaged against Houston, and man, I look back and it's the last segment. Kind of some of the guys in that last segment that don't normally play as much. Some of our walk-ons, some of our young players, they were playing those minutes. And man, I look back and everybody's got ice on. I'm like, golly, man, y'all boys are old, man. So I'm just hoping we can hold up through this season and be able to perform. But I'm really excited. I know it's a lot of excitement around this team. I'm really looking forward to us tipping off. Even tomorrow night. We play Texas Lutheran in an exhibition game November 1st. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Had the guys looking like LeBron in the NBA bubble while walking around with ice on their knees. But I mean, obviously the experience factor has to be, something that's, valuable, for you as a coach when you're implementing the new system, is that you're not also teaching guys how to work in college basketball. They're guys that have done it. In many cases, they've led their teams. Timmy Allen was one of the better scorers in the Pac-12. Marcus Carr, one of the best point guards in the Big Ten, really in the country. Obviously, Trey Mitchell and Disu and all those dudes. Like, what has been the biggest challenge of integrating them into the system that you're trying to build, given the experience they have at previous stops in college hoops?
Yeah, I think each player has their own unique challenges. But I think our goal is to be able to Coach always talks about us building relationships quickly and then, winning year one. We really don't have a plan to win in year 3 or year 4. We put this team together to compete for a national championship year 1. And everybody talks about this transfer portal, but, guys that really understand college basketball understand Chris Beard has always been a guy that has complimented younger, talented freshmen, whether it be Zaire and Culver in an Elite 8 run. Kyler Edwards was a very intricate part of that team that went to the national championship game. In that COVID year, we had Ramsey and TJ Shannon and Kevin McCullough. So we've always had, last year, it was Micah Peavy. We've always had talented freshmen, but then he's always, blended in that with some proven transfers. And this year, no different. Obviously, we went a little heavier on the portal than normal years just because we got the job so late. It wasn't probably as many high school guys out there available for us to sign that we thought could come in and make an immediate impact on our team. So, but everybody was brought here for a reason. We actually took our guys through the journey of why everybody is on this team and what purpose they serve. And so I got, we didn't just stockpile talent, man. We put together a team, and I'm excited for the world to be able to see what these guys can do both offensively and defensively. Man, I think our fan base be very, very excited about the product.
And we can't mention some of these names because they're not signed yet, but I can tell everyone, and everyone watching this probably knows that in 2022, it's going to be obvious that Chris Beard can recruit freshmen to Texas. Let's put it that way. Looking at some of these guys, especially in the backcourt, Marcus Carr and Devin Askew, both of those guys have, I think, been through a lot in their college basketball journeys from different reasons. The thing I've heard a lot about Devin this summer and fall is how much he's worked as a defender. Can you talk about, the transformation for him from some of the struggles he dealt with last year at Kentucky to, now being an integral part of what you guys are trying to build here at Texas?
Yeah, baby Dev, man. I love, the tenacity he brings every day in practice. He's competitive. Devin's playing really within himself, man. I'm happy for him, just playing confident. He's going to be a big reason why we win. He's a guy that challenges, and whether it's Marcus Carr or Courtney Ramey, those guys every day, and just brings a level of professionalism every day of practice. And so his best basketball is ahead of him for sure. This would have been his freshman year, Kev. And so I think a lot of people, forget about that. The fact that, there was a guy that, was highly touted that reclassed up. And I think that experience at Kentucky last year is going to really pay dividends for Devin Askew moving forward. And then Marcus Carr, obviously we know how good he is. Is one of the best, like you said, point guards in college basketball last year. He's a guy too that, is buying into the defensive end of the ball. And, Kevin Ball, we've tried to recruit that program down in Mount Bird. And, we talk a lot about Marcus. So, every time he takes a charge in practice or gets a deflection, I'm always like, man, we got to pull that clip and send that to Coach Ball, man. Coach Ball says you didn't play defense. But I'm excited. In order for us to be the team that we want to be, we've got to be viewed as one of the best defensive teams in college basketball. It starts there. And then offensively, obviously, we have a lot of people that can score and do some things offensively. But we've got to be a low turnover team, and we got to be a team that plays together and hopefully be one of the best assist teams in college basketball as well. I think we got a lot of shooting. And so I'm excited for Marcus Carr and Devin to really be able to bring that out of this group, both offensively and defensively.
You mentioned sacrifice and kind of the necessity of that for you guys to reach the success that you guys want to have. And I know B and I were joking about this when it was tweeted by John Rothstein that Chris Beard has given up beer for the year. And that's something that Joe Golding has done with his programs. Can you speak to the physical sacrifices that you might be making or some other guys on the team might be making beyond just Chris Beard and beer?
Yeah, so Coach, talk to our guys. We're always trying to put elite in front of our guys every day, and I think it was, I want to say it was Tom Brady maybe that had gave up, beer for the season, and
sorry about that. I was trying to get your video ready, Coach. My fault.
Oh wow. But no, so you have even some of these NBA players, you've heard alluded to, some of these guys, giving up, different, vices through the course of playoffs, whether it's, staying off social media for X amount of time, whatever the case is.
Right.
And so, that idea of just being able to sacrifice something that's going to make you better. For me, it's desserts. I'm a fat boy. I need to lose some weight. And so I probably could have gave up some other sacrifices, some other things too as sacrifices, but I didn't want it to be fluff. I wanted to do something that I knew I could do. If I would have said burgers, then I would have lost tonight. I just got so, but I did get wheat bread. And I didn't know cheese, but so dessert is mine. I'm gonna do dessert this year as my sacrifice.
I love it.
Yeah, sorry for the little bit of the technical difficulties there, Coach. We had to get the Texas excitement over there, man. Y'all had it rocking over there, man. So talk a little about this. I know there's, it's not necessarily one and dones, and Beard has done such a good job of just kind of having guys that maybe weren't on NBA radars. You've named a few at Texas Tech, Jared Culver and Zaire and others. Talk a little bit about this team, and you've coached some of the best players talent-wise. I'm going to pull up, if you don't mind, a little bit of your past and some of the guys that you've been able to coach. Obviously, Beard has, Coach Howard has, Coach Terry has as well, Coach Ogden as well. A lot of pros have come through there. Talk a little bit about how these guys compare to some of the players that you've coached personally since you've been around a lot of NBA players yourself.
Yeah, I've been blessed. This is going into my 15th season in college basketball. So in 14 years, 16 guys that have played in the NBA. It's definitely been a ride. But I do think we have, a few guys that have opportunity to play at the next level. Like we tell our guys all the time, a lot of that's going to be predicated on winning. I think all these guys have done. I think Coach Beard said in the press conference maybe 2-3 weeks ago, man, these guys they can do individually. But now it's time to win big, and through team success, individual, accolades and success will come, And so you look at that team that Coach Beard had at Tech, that lost in the national championship game. Culver, Big 12 Player of the Year, ended up being a lottery pick. Tariq and Matt Mooney went on as grad transfers and signed NBA contracts. Norris Odiase was on an Exhibit 10 contract with the Suns, and these are guys that nobody expected to be in those conversations. Davide Moretti, who had one of the best shooting years, the best shooting year of any Big 12 player ever. He went 50, 50, 90, 50 from the field, 50 from the three, 90 from the free throw lines. Never happened in Big 12 history. It was, we think it's one of those things. I think our guys get it. They understand that, man, we've got to win, in order for them to get the things they wanted. So one example, Timmy Allen, I told him, I said, T.A., you're one of three guys to average 17, 6, and 4. The other two guys, Io from Illinois and Cade Cunningham, got drafted. Both teams went to the NCAA tournament and they got drafted. You just didn't win as much as you wanted to at Utah. So now it's time. You don't necessarily have to go 17, 6, and 4 here at Texas. But I think it's time. He'll have those type of games on multiple occasions, but now it's time to get in that tournament and perform at the highest level. So I think it's just one example of many, but I think, through the tournament, man, all things are possible. Y'all know, man, magical things happen in March, so just embracing that idea.
Yeah, we know that Coach Beard talked about this in his preference. He says, he doesn't run from expectations. That's why he's there. And obviously you guys are changing to the SEC. We'll talk about that a little bit. Baylor just won a national championship last year from the Big 12. Coach Beard's led Texas Tech, a staff that you just were on last year, led them to the national championship game. But you guys also have quite a bit of fun mixed into the culture. I think we got a little video here of you in the helicopter, if I'm not mistaken, jumping out.
Yeah, that was crazy. I can't believe I did that.
You did. You did. So talk a little about stuff like this. You got the fireside chats. You got all kind of stuff going on with the program there. Talk a little about what makes, the fun element of that and the whole concept of reuniting the family. Talk about that if you don't mind.
Yeah, man, we try to have just as much fun and more fun than anybody in college basketball. We think we work just as hard, but what they say. The old people used to always say, man, all fun and no play make Jack a dull boy, and so just try to have a little fun with it, man. Our staff, led by our managing director, Chris Ogden, and James Howard, they probably are two of the silliest people I've ever been around, man. And then, I never knew Coach Terry. You work with him. He's a character too, man. He's hilarious. So we have a lot of fun at work, and we work hard, but we play hard too. And so that always just giving us that balance, man. It always makes it fun.
So I'm curious about this part too. So you got Ogden, you got Terry on the staff. Those guys, I'm sure, are always comparing what they did either when Ogden was playing or when he was coaching or when RT was coaching. And then, of course, Beard was there as a student. How much of that trash talk kind of goes around the office about this kid, that kid, this team, that team, the whole nine?
We hadn't really got into that. It's really been more like, hey, this is how we do it at Texas. This is how we had level of success. These are some things to maybe think about, right. When you're recruiting or working at University of Texas. So from that standpoint, it's obviously been very advantageous for us, guys like, Jarence, myself, Bob Donoval. This is our first, even Coach Beard. He was here as a student, but it's different, coming back and coaching here. And so we're always leaning on those guys, even though things have changed around the campus and the city a little bit since the last time Ogden and RT were here. But it's still, it's been very beneficial to have those guys back and help us kind of navigate the waters.
So a couple of new things coming. Talk a little bit about the new arena and talk about the new conference. I know it's not now, and I know there's things in front of that, but next year you guys will be in a new arena, a new conference. Talk a little bit about some of the future of Texas. Yeah,
I don't, hadn't been, decided on if we'll be in the SEC next year, though, Brian. I don't know how accurate that is. I think, we're just trying to control what we can control, and then whenever that switch happens, obviously that's a way above my pay grade. But obviously that's in the future of us joining the SEC. The new arena will be transcending. Be one of the best basketball venues in all of college basketball. Moody Center will be, I predict, to be one of the best environments in all of college basketball. It's a $400 million arena. I mean, every time I ride by it going to work now, it's beautiful. Just stopping by. So if you ever ride by 35, I challenge you to kind of pull off and just kind of see every day is changing, So we'll have a brand new arena there, locker rooms. It'll be, right beside it will be our state-of-the-art practice facility. Men and women's basketball officers, the whole nine will be there. And that opens up in April, this coming April. So that's going to be huge for recruiting, just moving forward, and just, a game day experience here at Texas.
And I know coaches like to look one game at a time, and you got an opener to prepare for, but I think everybody in college basketball is excited for that first Saturday of the season, Gonzaga, Texas, in Spokane. Would be an incredible environment, obviously incredible talent on both teams. Give us the early look ahead of what that game means for the program and what you guys are building early on.
Yeah, we always tell our guys, Kev, the most important game is the next game on the schedule. And so we'll show Houston Baptist great respect November 9th as we open up the season. And then, I think it'll be a highly anticipated game against Gonzaga, who we have a ton of respect for. I had great relationships with their staff. And so obviously they've got a ton of talent as well. It'll be a highly competitive game. Hopefully we can, put our best foot forward and live up to the bill. We know they will. So hopefully we can, do our part and kind of make it a fun game. I don't, obviously no championship is won in November, but I think it'll be a really good measuring stick for both programs moving forward. Whatever happens in that game, And so it'd be pretty exciting.
Coach, you also have a game where Rick Barnes, former head coach at Texas, comes home in the Big 12 SEC Challenge, and then you have Big 12. Just talk about a little bit about what it's like coming into the season. Naturally, Texas Tech didn't necessarily have the preseason expectations always, although in recent years, Coach Beard has. There's so much excitement, so much buzz about this recruiting class. Just how are the guys? It seems like the guys are really grounded. You have so many older guys that play college basketball already that just are hungry, it seems like, to win and not just necessarily put up points. Almost like an NBA team where they're a little bit older. They've already gotten their individual accolades. Talk about what that part about the team has been like, because it seems like it's been really impressive as far as guys just being able to gel and have a common mission. And obviously, Chris Beard talks about this in press conference as well. You haven't been punched in the mouth yet, so you don't know how that part reacts. But talk a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, man, it's I think I have a good understanding that they're playing for the University of Texas, and we'll get everybody's best pop. Whereas some of these other universities that I've worked, we've been able to kind of sneak up on some teams. We won't be able to sneak up on anybody this year. Everybody on the schedule will be ready to play, and so we've got to be our best every night and have that level of consistency. And so that's a big word that we've used with our guys just in practice. It's just having that level of consistency. And I think if we can be consistent, this year in terms of our focus and our approach, I think we'll be able to, have the season that we all dream of having.
All right, last thing we got for you, man. We got fireside chats. We got all the fun. You got to tell us at least one funny story behind the scenes that goes down there in Austin, Texas. It can be a practice story. It can be a office story. It can be anything you want. But give us something funny before you go. I know we put you on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that happens funny every day. I'll tell you this. Probably we had a Halloween lift. So the Friday before Halloween, we always, the guys and, all the players and GAs will dress up in a costume. And so, we left at 8:00 in the morning, and man, I walk in the weight room, man. I just collapsed. Courtney Ramey has a bodysuit on and he's dressed up like Jarence Howard. Oh man, it was hilarious, man. He had the walk going, he had the phone in his hand. I mean, Jarence could do nothing but laugh, man. It was hilarious. But when he fell asleep, anybody that knows Jarence could fall asleep anywhere, anytime, any place. And so when he was talking, then all of a sudden he just sat down on the bench and he fell asleep. And then he woke back up, man. It was hilarious, man. But no, it's that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
That's awesome, man. We appreciate it, man. We appreciate you taking the time. We know there's plenty of stuff you could be doing. We wanted to make sure we showed some love to the Longhorns before the season. And just thanks so much for taking the time, man. We look forward to the great things you guys are going to do. I even got a little bit of burnt orange on today, just because I'm living in Colorado.
I don't care what you think.
That's a stretch.
I said a little bit.
Man, I appreciate you guys, man. Much respect for what you guys are doing with the show and what you guys are doing for the game of basketball, man. So much respect to you guys, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Kevin, you got anything before you go? We'll let Kevin close it out.
No, I got nothing other than the fact that like I said, it is a good time to be a Texas Longhorn, and I'm excited to see what you guys have started to build and continue to build throughout year one. So it's going to be a fun ride, and appreciate you joining us today.
Kev, I appreciate it, man. Keep that energy, man. I like that. Even if we fall short, we run out of time on a couple of these games. Don't give up.
My credibility's on the line, too. I got y'all number 2, so live it up.
Woo. Let's see. I hope we can be that good.
That's it. All right.
Yeah, I'm in Colorado now. We hardly home. We repping a little bit. If I get a real burnt orange shirt, I'll wear it. This is like a different color orange. You know what I mean?
Man.
Hey, well, I appreciate it, fellas.
Yeah, thanks again. Well, there it is. Number 2 by Kevin Sweeney, and Jeff Goodman has him number 2 ranked in the country. Awesome job by Coach. He's going to be a head coach. I think people can see that the more you get to hear him talk and hear him talk about the game and see the things he's done in his career. But yeah, man, exciting times in Austin, Texas. New arenas in the background. We don't have the full picture, but it's going to be rocking. Matthew McConaughey will be in there as the director of hype or whatever his name is.
Minister of Culture.
Exactly. Doing it for the culture. But should be an extremely exciting year. They'll get better and better. One thing about Chris Beard teams, they always get better as the year goes on. A ton of new guys. Again, only 4 returners. I think 10 new guys, if I'm not mistaken. Only one guy that knows coach's culture, and Avery Benson. So it's going to take some time. They're going to get better and better as the year goes on. And scary team come conference play and come March that you're not going to want to see.
Yeah, they're going to be dangerous. Like I said, when I'm picking them number 2, it's not necessarily that they're going to be the second best team week 1 of the year.
Right.
But you enter the NCAA tournament with the guys that they have, the talent they have. Once they get healthy, I know they're getting Dylan Disu back healthy. He was a big-time guy. I think he'll play in the NBA. Like, it's going to be scary, man, especially if they start buying in on defense and playing hard, which they will for a guy like Beard.
There's no if on that. There's no if.
It's more of a win.
It's definitely a win. So I was fortunate. So I was at Abilene Christian when Chris Beard was at McMurray. And so we were almost at the same staff. Joe Golding and Beard are obviously close friends. Known Beard a long time, myself. And I'll tell that story another day. But it was awesome to see, man. He's a master. Obviously, has been well noted, but he's a master of culture and just getting those guys to buy in and spending the extra time and just he's going to put the work in. He's going to put the time in, and the more the year goes on, they're just going to get better and better. So defense is not going to be a question about that. And obviously, having 100 points, over 100 points per game returning, they're going to be able to score points. It's going to be really competitive. I think seeing how guys handle not playing, you have a lot of guys who have proven themselves in college basketball already that aren't going to play the same type of minutes they're used to. But if anybody could figure it out, it's going to be Chris Beard and that staff. So look forward to seeing what they do. Awesome to get an inside look into Austin, Texas behind the curtain. And, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very much so. Looking forward to it. And like I said, they're only counting Houston Baptist, but we all know that Gonzaga game that Saturday is going to be high stakes. And really the first awesome student section return. Because the two big games on opening night are at Madison Square Garden. There's no offense to Madison Square Garden. It's not the same as a college gym.
Nope.
And then you got not as many big games Wednesday night, Thursday night. There's a game at UCLA Villanova. But let me tell you, UCLA basketball fans, they don't party like Gonzaga basketball fans. The kennel is crazy. And that if you want a pure college basketball scene, the 6,000 people squeezed into that gym to watch Texas Gonzaga opening weekend on a college football Saturday, man, it's gonna be nothing better. I'm excited already.
Going down.
We good. So,
well, that's it for our number 2 Kevin Sweeney rated Texas Longhorns backstage. Oh, we're gonna hoodie up. It's hoodie season. We got Sweeney in the building. We're on Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. We pre-recorded this, but this will go out here soon, and can't wait to see what the Longhorns do. Exciting year for college basketball. They probably have the most portal-driven team in the country. So we're going to get to see the experiment firsthand. Chris Beard obviously took the Texas Tech Red Raiders to the national championship game with 2 grad transfers as kind of the key components. So he's going to work his gumbo and put it in the pot, and we're going to see how it works out. But looking forward to it, man. It's going to be fun. Till next time.